welcome to Chuck's Guitar Geekery. These are two distortion pedals that have been around for a long time. They are some of the biggest selling distortion pedals of all time, and really, they're very different. But I'm here to just, what are the differences between them if you haven't really actually played them for yourself, which one's right for you, and quite frankly, why I think you need both of them. So we'll get into that near the end of the video, but they're two completely different EQ curves, they're different types of clipping, but they're both relatively inexpensive, especially on the used market, because there's been so many of them that people sell them used fairly inexpensively, quite a bit. So let's just dive into the sounds at first, and then I'll talk more about it in a little bit. So using my Fender Super Champ XD here, going through load boxes and impulse response of a 112 Celestion V-type speaker. Not Vintage 30 Celestion V-type. It's a different speaker than a Vintage 30. But to me, it's kind of the most balanced IR I have that came stock in my More radar. So that's how I work it around here. And yeah. And yes, this is an ugly guitar. It's a weird guitar. I love it. It's a Music Box Space Ranger. People always ask and comment on it in the videos, so get that out of the way up front. But anyways, I have Elnico 2, so not a very hot humbucker in here. Let's start by best. So to kind of start with there, the DS-1 definitely likes at least some grit on the amp you're going into. So that's really kind of edge of breakup. So let's turn the gain up a little bit. Back the volume off a little bit. See how it does in a slightly dirtier amp. So now let's go back a little cleaner and see how much gain is on tap. It's about as clean as this amp gets with humbuckers, so. So the DS-1 is definitely more of a mid-scoop sound. It can get a bit harsh. So that was more of a mid-scoop sound on the amp on top of it. I think the Rat goes with that better. So which one, if you're only going to buy one, which one fits your style better? I'd say if you have a very mid-rangey amp, the DS-1 definitely complements that, especially when you're gain stacking with the amp. The Rat, especially a Fender style clean like this, the Rat has a lot more mids to it. So it's definitely a pedal that can kind of jump through a mix a lot better than the DS-1 does. It also has a lot more output. I don't know if you noticed, the DS-1 this whole time has been on full volume because that's almost unity gain with humbuckers. When you get into single coil land, you can get to unity gain a little easier, a little lower on the volume dial. But for humbuckers, that's how you got to get to unity gain. So two completely different flavors of classic distortion that you can be found affordably. But what if I told you the best way to use these is together? So give me a second, I will reconfigure my board here. Okay, so now if you can follow all the cables here, I have the DS-1 stacked into the Rat. I still have the sleeper pedal here just because of how it's set up, but these two pedals stack very well together. So here's the bypass tone. Rat by itself. And put the DS-1 on top of it. Because fun fact about the Rat, it is a very close circuit actually to what the Klon style pedals will do, in that it kind of pushes the same frequencies. It does it a little different. Klon will actually like split the signal and then blend it back together at the end. The Rat doesn't do that, but it's pushing the same frequencies, and it also has hard clipping like a Klon does. So on the lower gains, you're pretty much getting a Klon. But it also has a lot more gain, and then the DS-1, because you have the very mid-pushed characteristic of the Rat, then you have the mid-scooped characteristic of the DS-1, and you put them together, and it works. I don't know how else to describe it. And that gives you gain stacking and 2 levels of gain that you can use live. That's just good fun to me. So anyways, do yourself a favor, if you don't already have these, or if you've had them and sold them in the past, give them another look. I'll affiliate links below if you want to grab either of them for yourself. Like I said, they've been some of the highest selling pedals of all time, and there's a reason for it. So anyways, I've been Chuck, you've been beautiful. See you next time.